What's up, Steeler Nation? This is Bishop Ball here, back to give you my fan perspective on more Steeler news. And wow, the other day we woke up to the Steelers trading for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith from the Miami Dolphins. Two targets that we have been hearing about for, I would say, like the last month. We've been hearing rumors of the Steelers being interested. And hey, that gentleman, what's that guy's name? Ricky something Ricky. That guy's he's a genius. He's like a football prophet because he said the Steelers were going to acquire Jalen Ramsey, and they did. And many of the talking heads on TV, whether it be Rich Eisen or all these people's names escape me when I'm looking for them, but whether it be Rich Eisens or wow, I can't remember anything. But you know who the sports shows that we watch with Joy Taylor on it, and Ocho was on it, and Dan Orlowski, and those guys when they talk about all these proposed rumors and things of that nature. Adam Scheffner is another one. They've said that Jalen Ramsey preferred to go to a team out west where it's warmer. You can understand that, but it turns out that the Steelers actually acquired these assets, and I think I was all for them acquiring Jalen Ramsey. Jonnu Smith, I wasn't really understanding the fit personally. I want a wide receiver too. I think that would complete the team because, first of all, like we said before, we don't really know what Roman Wilson is. Second of all, Calvin Austin, even though he primarily played on the outside in college, in the NFL, he's kind of small to be an outside receiver. He's not even like Tyreek Hill, who's a shorter wide receiver, but he's a big, stocky, fast, super legitimate, rocket fast guy. And so these guys are slot guys, as far as we know, until they prove otherwise. So we need a proven route runner, another proven deep threat, and preferably another big body receiver to complete our wide receiving corps. Somebody that I wouldn't say put fears in the defense, but that the defense has to respect. And so, we've heard the names, but Jonnu Smith he's like a luxury. But, I haven't seen Smith play in a while. And when I really looked at him, this guy is 6'3", 6'4", in that range, 250 pounds. He's built like a wide receiver. Now, I don't know exactly what he runs, but he can be used in a variety of different ways, and he gives the Steelers another added dimension on offense that we just don't have. We don't have yak receivers, and you know these things. A lot of times we as fans, we start talking about sports without really like identifying and examining what's actually going on, not only between the lines, but with the different idiocracies that are attached with sports, and if you ever played sports, I played high school football, and that's the only organized football that I ever played where I had to put pads on, but all the other stuff was recreational. But I played high school football, and schemes and cooperation from teammates and proper coaching, all of that factors into things. Injuries factor into performances and things of that nature, whether or not you're being correctly used or not. A lot of these things factor in. So we got to learn how to stop blurting out stuff. You're trash. You're not this and that, to understand what's going on. And with Jonnu Smith, he's a weapon. He's a weapon. And the Steelers can get really versatile with their packages and their sets. And not that Matt Canada stuff where you're doing a lot of motions and jet sweeps and stuff, unnecessary things that the defense is not falling for. Nobody's being tricked by that or deceived by that. But I'm talking about packages and personnel groupings that allow the Steelers to run or pass from a variety of different positions, and the defense having to make significant adjustments in order to keep up with the weapons, whether it's Freiermuth, whether it's Washington. And Washington has to be used more because he's 6'8", 6'7", 6'7", 290 pounds, whatever he is. He's big, and he runs a 4.6, and he can catch. Did you all know that he played wide receiver in high school? You know, he can catch. Now, maybe his route running needs to be improved, but he can catch. But staying on topic, Jonnu Smith is a weapon. So I am definitely, in 1 year, $12 million, just 1 year, $12 million. That's not a big ask. I'm pretty sure that Omar Khan structured that contract in such a way that it's not going to be a tremendous salary hit. And then getting Jalen Ramsey. I don't care how old the man is. He still can ball. He's big, he's physical, he's fast, he's confident. And maybe he's not the same Jalen Ramsey when he was playing with the Rams or even anywhere near with the Jaguars, but he's still one of the top 15 cornerbacks in the league. This guy is, and at one point in time, he might have been the best cornerback in the league. He has spent a lot of time playing in the slot over the last couple of years. So that just makes our defense more pertinent. Now, the thing is that we had to give up Mika Fitzpatrick in order to get him. And I'm confused a little bit. I guess I can understand if the Steelers didn't want to give up premium draft picks, especially draft picks in next year's draft. And we got to think about this too. If the Steelers are planning on moving up in the draft to select a quarterback, probably in the top 15, because the way the quarterback class is looking now, I mean, there could be as many as 6 quarterbacks that go in the first round of the draft next year. And so think about this. They've got a first round pick, a second round pick. They've got 2 thirds, 2 fourths, and I think 2 fifths. So they probably don't want to tinker with any of their assets because let's say in order to move up, they have to give up a first, a second, or a third, and next year's 2027 first round pick to move up. I don't know, 10, 15 spots. Let's say they got to go from 25 to 8 or 9. Well, they're going to need those other 4th and 3rd round picks in order to get some other players in the draft, especially with the bevy of 1-year contracts that they have signed players to in order to get to have the cap room that they have next year. And so they have a lot of cap room next year, but they're going to need that rookie quarterback to come in the league. And if he's going to play right away, we don't know. If it's going to be Mason Rudolph, we don't know. But they still are building at the same time trying to compete. And there are a lot of pundits that say this doesn't make the Steelers a championship contender just yet. I think that it does. Not necessarily the favorites or a serious threat, but they're stronger than they were last year, and people continue to forget that the Steelers were 10-3 last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Okay, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than both of them. In his down year, he still threw for 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. He's taller than both of them, and that's saying a big thing as far as Russell Wilson's concerned. He knows how to use every avenue of the field. He still has tremendous arm talent. He is coming back healthy, not only from the Achilles tear that he had, but he also had reports of dealing with nagging hamstring and knee injuries during the course of the Jets season that year. If you watch Matt Williamson and DK Sports, the gentleman that is a co-host with um, DK on his Daily Shot Sports. They go through a complete breakdown of every game, every game. He's actually on there with Matt Williamson too. Every game that the Jets played, and they show you that that offensive line was terrible, worse than the Steelers' offensive line. They go through a complete breakdown of the Steelers' offensive line, and they can show you how many times that Justin Fields didn't read the defense correctly and hit the open man. How many times Calvin Austin was running free through the defense and the quarterback didn't see him. How many times Russell Wilson basically panicked and took sacks that they weren't supposed to take, dumped the ball off in the check down when it was, you know, receivers open in the middle of the field, couldn't get rid of the ball quickly, all things that Aaron Rodgers specializes in. So if the Steelers' offensive line, as poorly as they played, their average yards or average time for creating the pocket for the quarterback was more than the New York Jets. That New York Jets team was terrible. Like, we got to understand, they were dysfunctional. They were terrible. They fired their head coach in the middle of the season. They made trades in the middle of the season that didn't even help them at all. At all. And they weren't even in the position. And Aaron Rodgers actually played better down the stretch of that season. So coming off a season like where he's removed from that, we don't need this dude to be the 4-time MVP. We just need this dude to make competent decisions, get us to the line, get us in and out of checks, throw the ball to the open man. Enough where we're a threat to throw the ball. Not when you drop back the pass, nobody fears the running game, or the running game can't open holes because nobody fears the passing game because the guy's not going to take advantage of the middle of the field, or they know he can't read defenses and coverages and get the ball to the correct receiver, make the correct read. And so Jonnu Smith is a yak receiver. This guy will get yards after the catch, create plays out of short gains. He can also stretch the middle of the field, but we still need a wide receiver too. And the hole that is created by trading Minkah Fitzpatrick, from what I'm hearing, you know, he played a lot of center field, and that had a lot to do with the coaching because of, I'm imagining we couldn't cover tight ends well, which Jalen Ramsey can do, cover tight ends well, because we weren't getting adequate pressure on the quarterback, and our cornerbacks, even Joey Porter Jr. sometimes, gave concern to the coaches that we were going to get beat deep. So basically, Minkah was dropping back into coverage and protecting the deep side of the field. Well, to pay somebody $20-something million to do that, when we need to shore up that slot corner position, is the reason why they made that trade. Now, just keep in mind, like for me personally, the trade hurt. However, you know, they did what they had to do. And people got to remember, it's July 2nd. It's July 2nd. Let's still see what's going to happen. Justin Simmons is still out there. Julian Blackmon is still out there. Two safeties that are still very good safeties that we can sign and bring in. And we still have to, a lot of things that we need to understand when it comes to this wide receiver 2 position is that, once again, it's July 2nd. A lot of teams need to get into camp, you know, see how their players are looking, see how their depth chart is going to sort itself out, and then they'll begin to make trades even before the first cut down day. We might not even get another wide receiver 2 until after the cut down day. And we have to see, you know, how that's going to work out for us. So I'm excited because at least the Steelers are being aggressive. I don't know how many of you all feel this way about we need to tank to get a quarterback. I do not want to sit around watching losing football. I'm not tuning in for that. I can barely watch the team blow a game or get blown out and continue to watch the game. I've just now matured enough to the point where I can finish watching the game. Because usually I cut that off and go do something else. I don't like losing. I don't like watching losers. I don't like talking to losers. I don't like talking to people who think about losing or making excuses for losing. And that's not how you build a football team, by tanking. This ain't the NBA. One player is not going to turn around your whole team. You know, you could get a rookie quarterback, and if you can't protect him, he's going to get crushed. He'll become Tim Couch. If he doesn't have weapons, he's not going to look well. The team is not going to do well. So you have to build. We already have foundational structure. We keep good players, and we always try to win. So what we need to do is get ourselves in position and have our scouting department scout out the right players and draft well. So that's what we need to get back to doing, is draft well. So, you know, I am happy with our draft. I'm happy with our offseason so far. I'm sad to see Minka go, but I'm still not holding any judgments until I see what else they do. And, you know, we keep on watching and keep on seeing what's going on. So on my next video, I'll be getting more into the wide receiver 2, whether that, you know, would be Gabe Davis. We'll talk about Amari Toomer and how that he factors in, Romeo Doubs, Trey Parker, and a couple of others. We'll bring up some of the wide receivers in Minnesota and Houston. But until then, this is Bishop Ball, and I'm out.